Norton, Hooky mild.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got a bottle from the Norton Brewery and it is their Hooky Mild. Now the Norton Brewery are based in Oxfordshire, I think in a place called Oxon. Well, it's in the Cotswolds, which is a really nice part of the United Kingdom, and they have got a great brewing tradition. And what they've also got is the oldest steam-powered brewery in Britain, and it's still functioning now. I don't think there's any others that are still commercially functioning to this day. But the Norton one is, it only operates on certain days, granted, but it still does produce some of the, or help produce some of the beer that's brewed there. The brewery's been going since 1849, and the current steam engine that's in there is, I think it was put in 1899. So it's fairly old, it's over 100 years old, and it's still working today. It doesn't do as much as it used to. I think it's just powering the mashing tools and the mill and the sack hoist. I think that's all it does, but it's still in working condition, which is very interesting in terms of brewing history in this country. Norton, of course, are quite a traditional old British brewery, and they brew traditional British beer, but they do brew the odd modern beer as well. I mean, they're not averse to producing, the odd IPA, American style IPA, etc. But it's mainly the older type British stuff, which of course I really do like. And mild, you can't get more British than mild. This is a really old style of beer. It is descended from old ale. It's basically the weaker version of that, or the weaker version of, stout and porter. When the malt became heavily taxed, they started scrimping on the malt and started using less in the bill, in the grain bill, etc. And mild came to be. And mild is quite popular, characterised by its very dark colour, its low ABV, and its really good drinkability. So that's your mild, and of course Thwaites do another good mild as well, in the cans. I don't think you can probably get it up in Lancashire now, but I've only ever seen it in the cans down here, but it's really nice. So on that strength, let's get this open. Right, just before we get it open, just to recap what it is, it's a 500ml bottle. It is 2.8% in the volume. Its characteristics, according to the bottle, are dark. The colour is dark ruby. The aroma is roasted barley, and the taste is soft dark fruit. And that's pretty much your average mild. Mild, they say this is dark ruby. It is, but if you look at it in the glass, it looks almost black, like a Guinness, that type. Even though Guinness is very, very, very dark ruby, it's very similar to that. It's not like your ruby ale like Hobgoblin or anything like that. What was it say? A dark chestnut coloured ale full of roast malt flavours, complemented with superb dry hop aromas. And they use Goldings in this as well, and I'm assuming that is Kent Goldings, but it looks like quite a good beer. So let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Now, I've reviewed quite a few of the Norton beers on this channel. I do quite like their stuff. Never had their stuff on cask though. You just don't get it down south. They own, I think it's 36 pubs, and they're all based quite local to the Cotswolds, or to the region where the brewery is. which is fair enough. They do cask and keg stuff as well, but I've not seen any keg stuff down here. I've never noticed it down here anyway. Certainly not the mild. Let's get into the glass. Now, it's warmed up out there. It's really warm today. I've just been down the garden centre to get some dog and cat food, and it's fucking sweltering out now. And I don't know whether it's wise to be drinking mild on a day like this, but I don't care. Now, there you go. There it is. Now, if you look at that, you may be able to see the dark ruby colour that's in there. Can you see that? It is see-through. A lot of mild is darker than this, but this one looks like to be a bit sort of clearer. Wow, I'm getting the aromas. It's just from the glass. Really big malt on this, roasted malt, as they say. Big caramel and some toffee malt on that as well. Oh yeah, more toffee now as well. When I swig that around, I just get more toffee malt on this. It smells really nice, and it's all about the malt. There's not much else in there apart from the malt, which you'd expect from a mild. Oh, it smells absolutely gorgeous. There it is in the glass. One finger, well, maybe 1.5 finger white head, tightly packed, foamy white bubbles on there. Smells really good. Let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. Quite nice. There's a little bit of licorice on that as well. But this is all about the malt. Nice roasted malt. But it doesn't give you that bitter finish on it. The malt is quite sweet on this. It's like sweet toffee. And as the name suggests, it's very mild. For 2.8% beer, the body is quite big on this, and the flavour is a bit short-lived in the mouth and when it goes down. But that's what you expect with a mild. Mild is, for me, it's the ultimate session drink. You can drink loads of this stuff, and you know, at 2.8%, it's not really going to do you that much damage. Really smooth mouthfeel. The flavours are subdued. It's subdued toffee and caramel malt. I'm getting a touch of licorice on that too. And there is a very, very slight hot bitterness at the end. But all in all, the overall experience is one of subdued but nice flavours. And as I say, this is perfect for sessioning. So if you've got, I don't know if you can do it now or not, but if you can nip out of the office, or you can, I know you can't do it on the sites now, on the building sites, but if you work in an office, you can get out of the office, nip into a pub that's doing this, you can have a couple of pints of this and walk back in a straight line. And no one's going to know any different. And believe it or not, it is quite refreshing. It's got quite a full body on it, and of course this is top fermented. But for a top fermented beer, it goes down very nicely indeed. The flavours aren't massive on it, but then the flavours aren't supposed to be massive. It's mild, and mild got its name from the flavours. So of course you've got your stout, which is big on flavour, but it's also strong on the alcohol too. And mild, of course, is the exact opposite. Your stout is strong on alcohol, strong on the ABV. Same with the old ale. That's strong. That's got a big flavour, toffee malt and caramel malt flavour usually. There may be some other stuff in with it as well, but mild is the other end of the spectrum. It's for want of a better word, it is the original session beer. And of course, what they used to do, you know, back in the 1800s and 1700s, they used to blend this. You know, you'd have a pint of what they called stale and a pint of fresh. The stale would be maturing in the cask, because they didn't mature it in the breweries at first. They didn't do the fermentation. That was done by the landlord. So it was up to the landlord how he rotated it. And you could get some fresh stuff, which was quite mild. Flavours were quite mild, or you could get what they'd called stale. And, you know, that's where it comes from. But this is the original session beer. You know, mild was that low in ABV. You could drink a lot of it. And of course, at 2.8%, you can drink this till it's coming out your ear holes. And I have to say, it's really nice. That is a good mild by anyone's standards. And I've tasted a few. The Thwaites, for me, was really good. That had a lovely flavour to it. And I think that was 3 point something. It was slightly stronger than this. But the flavour on it was really nice. It had a lovely nutty flavour. This has got subtle licorice on it as well. But it's more about the malt. But everything on this is subdued. So what's the verdict on Hooky Mild? Yeah, it's not bad. And mild is a style of beer that's sort of going out of fashion now. There's only a few brewers that brew this now. You've got the Thwaite stuff, which I think, is that still, yes, it's still brewed by Thwaites, but that's quite hard to come by down here. You normally see it in either the odd supermarket or in bargain shops as well. This stuff you just don't see at all. I had to order this. I think I got this from either Beers of Europe, or I may have got it direct from the brewery itself. Not sure. But either way, it's nice. You know, if you like your brown ales and you like your ruby ales, but there's sometimes that you just want some easy drinking, you know, light stuff that's not going to get you out your nut. Mild is a really good option. And in this weather, you know, if you take it straight out of the fridge, it's really nice. You know, I think it's good enough to drink on a day like this. It's really refreshing. I will say that. Yeah, no complaints at all. And I think the warmer that gets, the more the flavours come out. But the flavours aren't massive on this. You just got to remember that it's, as the name implies, it's mild. But I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10. I really like that. That's a good example of a mild. But this is really nice. And I wouldn't have expected anything less from Hook Norton. They are a really good brewery, and they do some fantastic traditional style British beers. I know it's not the fashion now. I know everyone wants IPAs and all that, but you should investigate these. There is some absolute fucking gems hidden among that. Hidden among that old British brewing tradition. And remember, beer is working class champagne.